and others is if that interpretation is correct and the stela was meant to display the sacrificial cakes. Could it perhaps be that Euthydemus, the above-mentioned priest of Eleusis, meant that the popana should be put on display on the stele? Real ones or loose ones in stone. The stele itself has a flat upper part. I wasn't able to check it in real life, and I hope to do that. But it seemingly is wide enough for the 3 cakes that Euthydemus prescribes for the deities to be sacrificed. One further argument in favor is that the stela strongly resembles the stelae found in Theothic Thebes, which have the representations of these cakes resting on top. So if we assume that this may have been the case, what does this tell us about the protrusions on our stones then? One difference is that our stones seem to be largely have been dedications and they are not accompanied by any legal texts. Their frequent occurrence, however, should tell us something. It may have contributed to setting and maintaining the norm in sacrifices with cakes. The portable stones and rock-cut patterns with protrusions found in Achaia of Theotis and at Pellina may have served as mnemonic monuments, permanent reminders in the form of a trapeza, a holy table on which cakes intended to be sacrificed were laid out. They thus function as markers of place where sacrifice with popana, or whatever these cakes were called in Thessaly, is due in cults associated with Asclepius, Apollo, Artemis, Enodia, and Aphrodite, in the home and in the city. This would also explain the different numbers and sizes of the protrusions that we have. Their form and number may have served as reminders as well as symbols, indicating that sacrifice was done here and will be done again in the future, in the appropriate way, and in dialogue with accompanying objects such as stelae and figurines. We can, of course, not say very much about the particular rituals in which these stones must have played a role. But from the fact that we find these trapezae in both domestic as well as public contexts, at least one thing is clear, and that is that they marked entranceways and sacred spaces, and that such played an essential role in visualizing a sacred urban and rural landscape for the population inhabiting this area in Thessaly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hagsman, for your very interesting speech with all these new elements on the cults in this very new site. It's not well known, but it's, yeah. Θα συνεχίσουμε με άλλο συνεργάτη της ίδιας ανασκαφής, Dr. Tracy Harvey, που θα μας μιλήσει για νομίσματα από την ίδια θέση, από το κάστρο Καλιθέας, να δούμε και αν υπάρχουν συγκρίσεις με τα νομίσματα από το κάστρο των Φαρσάλων. Υπάρχει περίπτωση? Πού είναι οι πρωινοί ομιλητές? Coins λοιπόν from Castro Califea. New insights into coin circulation and intercity relations, Achaia Theotis during the Hellenistic period. Thank you.
Thank you. I also want to echo Marguerite's sentiments in saying thank you very much for inviting me and having me here at this conference. It's a great pleasure to be back in Farsala. I enjoy coming here every year, and I'm very pleased to share with you the coin finds from our site at Castro Calithea. The numismatic history of Thessaly, including at Achaia Theotis, has been greatly informed by the scholarship of Edgar Rogers in the early 20th century on the copper coinage of Thessaly, but more recently by scholars such as H. Reinders, who has done considerable work on the coin finds from excavations at New Halos. The body of evidence relating to the coins of this region continues to grow and develop. through the ongoing archaeological work at Castro Callithea. At this site, theorized to be the ancient Hellenistic city of Pevma, archaeological survey and excavations conducted by the University of Alberta and the 15th effort of prehistoric and classical antiquities at Larissa has produced a number of coins which provide us with significant information on coin circulation, as well as on the economic and political ties and contacts between our site and city and other cities within the region. I will show that the coin evidence found at the Castro of Callithea thus far reveals that our site shared similar patterns of coin circulation and economic ties as other cities in the region, but also indicates that when the city was at its height, its economic activities were very much influenced by Macedonian kings and even Romans operating in the region in the period between the mid-3rd to mid-1st centuries BC. So just to echo again Marguerite's comments about our work at the site, the project began in 2004 with survey and mapping of the site. Survey generated only a handful of coins, 4 in total, while excavations beginning in 2006 of the civic buildings in the Agora area of the site and of a building in the residential area on the northeast side of the city, known as Building 10, revealed some 82 coins from a closed context. Only a small number of coins, about 13, have come from excavations at the Agora area thus far, with the majority coming from Building 5, as we've already talked about, which we deduce is a small temple. One coin has come from a test trench at Acropolis Building 1, also believed to be some sort of shrine. The majority of the coins from the site have come from the excavation of Building 10, a large and exceptional house, which revealed 68 coins. The majority of the coins from the site are bronze denominations, with only 2 silver coins found, one in survey and the other in Building 10. So this is a summary of the coins that we found in the Agora area, just the numbers, and again, Building 10 and its location. So the range of dates of the coins are from the mid-4th to the mid-1st centuries BC, with a couple of exceptions dating to the late Roman period, likely mid-4th century AD. The majority of the identifiable coins, of course, a lot of them, when we excavate them, they're quite worn and hard to read, but 75% of those identified ones date to the mid-3rd to mid-1st centuries BC, the period during which the city is believed to have flourished. Now, in order to understand the issues or the issue of coin circulation, as well as political and economic relations between our site and cities in the surrounding areas, I would like to summarize the coins that have been found thus far at the Castro and what they can tell us regarding dates and occupation of the site. Pevma, as you can see from this map, or Callithea, was centrally located between several important cities in the area, including Pharsalos to the west, Melitaia to the south, Theotic Thebes, and Halos to the east, and of course, a more major center of Larissa further to the northwest. So one of the earliest coins found at our site, and one of only 2 silver ones found, dates firmly to the mid-4th century BC, a silver hemidram from Elis in the Peloponnese, dating to around 343 to 323 BC, and this was found in the survey of the site. Bronze coins of similar dates have been found in Acropolis Building 1, the Agora area of the site, and in Building 10. The majority of these bronze coins come from the city of Larissa, but one coin from Acropolis Building 1 does in fact come from Pharsalos and has comparable date. The dates of these coins coincide with the architectural and archaeological findings of the survey and excavation teams at the site, that the construction and expansion of the city at Castro Calithea likely began towards the very end of the classical period, early Hellenistic period. The latest coins to be found on the site thus far, while too worn to be hard and fast identified, they do reveal enough details in terms of style so as to suggest a date of the mid-4th century AD. And these coins are most certainly Roman and were found in the upper layers of the excavations of Building 10. In addition, we found late antique comeware sherds in Building 10 that have comparable date, which has led the archaeological team to postulate that residential parts in the city, the eastern side of the city, continue to be occupied off and on down to late antique times. The coins found in the Agora shed light on the occupation dates of that part of our site. A coin of the city of Phalana, dating from about 400 to 344 BC, was found in Building 5 and coincides with that very early Hellenistic expansion of the city. And a bronze coin from Larissa, found in Building 4, adjacent, dates to approximately the same time period as the Phalana coin. There are also several coins belonging to Macedonian kings, Antigonus Gonatas, one found in Building 1 and 2 in Building 5, which date from 277 to 239 BC, and one coin from Building 7 belonging to King Lysimachus and dated to between 297 and 281 BC. The majority of the coins from the Agora, however, belong to the Thessalian League. That's the Lysimachus coin. As you can see, it's pretty worn. But yeah, the majority of the coins from the Agora belong to the Thessalian League. One from Building 1 and 2 from Building 5 date to the early phases of Thessalian League coins from 199 to 146 BC, while the remainder, also from Building 5, bear the Athena helmeted portrait with the Hippai legend referring to the magistrate Hippaitas on the obverse, and these date from mid-2nd to mid-1st centuries BC, so a little bit later. One bronze coin belonging to the Magnates of Magnesia was also found in Building 5 and holds a date contemporaneous with the earlier Thessalian League coins. Perhaps the most interesting of the coins found in Building 5 is Roman bronze ass. It was issued, of course, by the Mint of Rome and bears the duoform head of Janus on the obverse and a ship's prow on the reverse, both standard image types for this denomination. The style and weight of the coin allows it to be dated to approximately 206 to 195 BC. The presence of this coin, while somewhat of a rare find in this area, should not come as a surprise, since Roman military operations had been taking place in the region, particularly under the leadership of the Roman general Titus Quinctius Flamininus from the early part of the 2nd century BC. So based on the dates of the coins found in the Agora, the latest of which are the Thessalian League ones dating to the mid-1st century BC, the research team of the Castro Calithea believe that the Agora may have declined and fallen out of use, perhaps sometime towards the end of the 2nd century BC, and may be an indication of general decline in the prominence of this city within the region. The types of coins from Building 10, the house, along with their dates, correspond fairly closely to the coins found in the buildings of the Agora, albeit with a few exceptions. The earliest coins from the building come from, the city of Larissa, dating to 400 to 344 BC. And there are also a number of autonomous city coins from cities like Melitaya, Pharai, and Atrax, which date roughly to the same period. There are also city coins from Theotic Thebes, Akara, Nuhalos, and the Magnetes in Magnesia, which date to the first half of the 3rd century BC, so just a few years later. Similarly to the Agora, the majority of the coins found in Building 10 belong to Macedonian kings, and the Thessalian League, Antigonus Gonatas, factors quite prominently. So most of these coins date from the mid-3rd century BC to the 2nd century BC. There are also 2 coins of the Aetolian League, whose dates from 279 to 168 again correspond to this time period. And as has already been mentioned, there were a couple of fairly late Roman coins from the 4th century AD. Basically, what we can do, or what we can deduce from that, is that the residential parts of the city did continue to be occupied off and on over the next couple of centuries, even though the Agora area seems to have gone out of use. Now, interestingly, the majority of the coins from Building 10 have been found in units F, I, K, and L. So basically the southeast corner where the storage area of Pythoi are. And only 1 coin was found in a Pythos, but interestingly, a very small group of coins was found in very close proximity to each other in Unit K. And these coins were Antigonus Gonatas for the most part. So we think that maybe perhaps there was a small coin hoard in that vicinity at one point. They were very close together. So now I would like to turn to the coin denominations themselves and the individual cities and rulers who issued these coins in an effort to shed further light on coin use and circulation within the region of Achaia Theotis. If we can assume for the moment that Castro Caliphate is in fact the Hellenistic city of Pevma, what do we know about the coins of this city and their circulation in the region? At this point, the archaeological record makes it difficult to determine conclusively where the mint for the city was located, and due to the rarity of these coins, how widely they circulated. Only 1 coin of Pevma was found at our site, not in excavation, but in survey. The survey covered approximately 40% of the site, and it did not find significant slag deposits or evidence of smithy and other metalworking practices to indicate the presence of a mint. But scholars such as Furtwängler and Reinders have put forward the theory that Pevma, along with the cities of Thebes, Larissa, and Nuhalos, belong to a mint union due to the fact that the coins of these cities all bear the monogram Alpha Chi, as you can see. This minting league was likely initiated by Demetrius Poliorcetes during the first quarter of the 3rd century BC. We know as well that coins of Pevma have been found at the nearby site of Nuhalos and as far afield as Nemea on the Peloponnese. It is safe to say that the coins of Pevma and those of other cities of Achaia Theotis circulated to other parts of Greece, but how widespread this phenomenon was is beyond the scope of this current paper. So the most abundant denominations of coins, as I said, are bronze, and the majority of them come from the mid-3rd century BC. Of the ones we have been able to identify, approximately 20% are very early Hellenistic 75% are Hellenistic proper, and about 5% date from the Roman occupation of Greece or later. Of the silver coins that we have, as I said, there was only two. The hemidram from Elis, and also this silver hemidram belonging to the Thessalian League, dating from the mid to late 2nd century BC. The prominence of bronze and the relatively small amounts of silver coins at our site is very similar to other sites in the area, such as New Halos and Pharsalos. Taking New Halos as a comparative example, and not including the silver hoard found there, only 7 out of 150 coins excavated in the houses there are of silver. Only one of these silver coins comes from Theotis, namely Thebes, while the others come from other parts of Greece, such as Locris, Thespiae, and Corinth. Coins found in excavations at Pharsalos thus far have shown similar results. The lack of silver coins at cities in the region of Theotis and its immediate surroundings, in particular at sites like Pevma, does not necessarily mean that coins were not used. As Reinders has argued, it is likely that these cities did not issue silver coins on their own or of their own, with the exception of Thebes, but rather relied on silver issues from other cities. The silver hoard at Halos, which contained coins from Greek cities beyond Theotis, seems to further support this case. The large numbers of bronze as opposed to silver coins at Castro corresponds, and basically we can deduce that the silver denominations were most likely reserved for much larger financial transactions. The types of coins found at the Castro and their issuing authorities, when compared to those of other cities in the region, show a number of similarities again, but also some noteworthy distinctions. Various sites in the region, including our Castro, New Halos, Eretria, Pharsalos, and Demetrias, have comparable numbers of autonomous city coins and also coins of Macedonian kings. In terms of coin circulation and what the coins tell us about city-to-city contacts, I first would like to touch on the autonomous city coins that we found. So approximately 26% of the overall coins found at the Castro belong to autonomous cities, as compared to 74% at New Halos and 46% at Eretria, and approximately 50% at Demetrias. So they do have a significant place in terms of coin circulation. Individual cities of Thessaly began producing coins, obviously very early in classical times, Larissa perhaps being the most prolific, and we've seen a number of their coins turn up at our site. Despite the Macedonian conquest of Thessaly in 344 BC, coins from local cities continued to circulate, even endorsed by the Macedonian king Demetrius Poliorcetes. However, with the exception of Larissa, the issue of these city coins seems to have ceased sometime towards the end of the first quarter of the 3rd century BC in favor of coins issued by Thessaly's Macedonian rulers, in particular those of Antigonus Gonatas. The coins of individual cities represented at Calathea hail almost exclusively from the region of Thessaly. The excavations at Calathea have revealed an apparent lack of coins from cities beyond Thessaly, which is in contrast with those found at New Halos, Demetrias, and Eretria, which had coins, significant numbers of coins from places like Euboea, Boeotia, and the Peloponnesus. Coins from such Thessalian towns as Larissa, Phalana, Atrax, Akara, Melitaia, Theotic Thebes, and New Halos, and of course nearby Pharsalos, have been found at the Castro. I postulate that the bronze coins of these Thessalian cities factored prominently in the day-to-day financial transactions and the economic climate of the early days of the city of Pema, along with other cities in the region. As I've already stated, the central location of the city likely had played a role in the particular types of coins that we found at our site, and of course is a testament to the strong economic ties that were held from city to city in Achaia Theotis. Now, as the most abundant coins to be found at our site belong to Macedonian kings, representing over 30% of the total coins found. All are bronze denominations, with the vast majority belonging to Antigonus Gonatas. These coins were also found in significant quantities at Demetrius, Eretria, and the southeast gate at New Halos. 3 bronze Antigonus Gonatas coins were found in the Agora of the Castro, 2 in the shrine and 1 in the Stoa, and the remainder were all found in Building 10. Nearly all of these coins are of the type bearing the portrait of Athena helmeted on the obverse, with Pan setting up a trophy on the reverse. Only one of these coins may be of the type bearing the Macedonian shield on the obverse and the helmet with plume on the reverse. These coins have been dated generally to the years of the king's reign, 277 to 239 BC, and it is likely that they came to circulate and become the dominant coinage of Thessaly around 260 to 250, when Antigonus had averted a threat from King Pyrrhus and secured Macedonian control of Thessaly. However, it was also at this time that Antigonus faced a new threat to his governance of Thessaly through the Aetolian League, whose coins have also been found at our site. Now, in addition to the Antigonus Gonatas coins, we've also found a very significant number of Thessalian League coins. Some of them are quite interesting, including this one. The prominence of Thessalian League coins at other sites has been a bit difficult to gauge, but silver denominations from the Thessalian League have been found in multiple coin hoards in the region, which have been studied by Sophia Cremidi Sicilianu, and whose analyses of these hoards seem to indicate that the circulation of such Thessalian League silver coins in the region was most pronounced during the mid-2nd century BC. The significant number of Thessalian League bronzes from our site seems to indicate that the currency of the League came to be widely used during this time and superseded previous coin denominations. The majority of our Thessalian League coins were found in Building 10, and they all date to after the defeat of Philip V of Macedon by the Roman general Flamininus in 197 BC. It was at this time that the Thessalian League, which had been overshadowed and dominated by the Macedonian king since Philip II, was revived, at least in spirit, by Flamininus. The Thessalian League coins from the Castro can be dated based on style and occasionally by names of magistrates that appear on the coins. Now, most of them